I was from Briceville, Briceville, Tennessee, TN. That's near Oak Ridge.
You joined the military, or you were drafted?
Joined in March the 9th of 1943, and we were shipped overseas, and we were on a ship, and of course they were having a storm in the Atlantic. The boat was a large ship, but it was pitching like 50 feet up, 50 feet down, stuff like that, because the waves were so high. We're on it 7 days, and it was up and down. Everybody was seasick just about, and I think I ate about 2 apples the whole 7 days. We landed on the Omaha beach where most of our soldiers had landed before on D-Day. We talked to quite a few civilians, and there was one civilian, he said that the Germans were out in a certain place. They had mined a lot of areas. There was one Catholic priest that was said he was going to show them where the mines were. So he walked out probably, I'd say, 200 yards, and bang, he was gone. We liberated Paris, 28th Infantry Division did. And if you've seen any of those pictures of the liberation of Paris, why, it is mostly the 28th Infantry Division. We liberated a lot more towns. We liberated the capital of Luxembourg. We liberated Brussels, Belgium. Eventually, we got up to what they called the Hurtgen Forest. They were just feeding one division in, and they were getting shot up, and they'd feed another division in, and they'd get shot up. And so they sent us up there, and they started dropping mortars in on my area right there where I was sitting. And they said, we're putting you guys on a rest area. And the rest area happened to be 25 miles long on the Belgian and the German border. Germans were starting going down our road right beside where we were. We decided we'd have to go somewhere. No matter where it was, we'd have to get out of that place. There was 3 Germans stepped out with guns. They had a machine gun and rifles. And they told us to halt, that kind of stuff. We went on down to a railroad station. They put us in one of these cattle cars, and the German guards out there got mad, and they came down through there, and they were shooting their rifles into the cars. And as they hit one fella in the neck somewhere here, and he died. He was standing up, and he died about 15 minutes later. We didn't get any food and water, and no bathrooms or anything for that matter. We were sent to Bad Orb. That was a prison camp. We were put in the barracks, and we didn't get much to eat there either. So they took everything that we had, so you had to eat out of your helmet. For our so-called breakfast was some stuff that they called it's like coffee, but it was ersatz, and it was kind of weak for what they call, we'd call supper or the evening meal. We got 6 men on a loaf of bread. The bread was about this long, so something like that. You looked outside, and there was about 27 deer.
That's okay.
27 deer that we saw, and they were going along, and they were, hopping along real fast. And we said, that's what freedom is. Eventually, then, they set me up to get on the train again. We had about 60 in each car, something like 5 or 6 cars. we were locked in, of course, when we stayed in there another 5 or 6 days, until we got to the next camp, and that was the Bergen, where they killed a lot of people, a lot of Jewish people. We would see when we passed there that some of them were hanging, they'd leave them hanging maybe 4 or 5 days. I was losing weight and all this kind of stuff, but we just had to do what we had to do.
This is 1945.
Right.
The Third Reich is completely crumbled.
Yeah. But that made these people madder. This was run by the Gestapo and the SS. We knew that Americans were coming because this one man, he listened to this radio at home, and he came and he'd tell us. They decided then they were going to close the camp, and the ones that were unable to move, or to walk, they were going to kill them. We would walk maybe 15 miles a day. They knew that it was going to be over for them pretty soon, but we could hear firing, like cannons and things like that, artillery, and we knew it wouldn't be too many days. We stayed in a barn. This would be their last night. The German sergeant said that he was going to do something to us. He's going to kill us if the Americans came. Anyway, he decided it might be better to save his own skin, so he sneaked out, he and all of his buddies. So we woke up in the morning, there was nobody there, in other words, no Germans. I went down through a plowed field and I fell down about 3 times before I ever got to half track. They took me, gave me something to eat and took me along with them. They said I weighed less than 80 pounds, that's what they said there. And I did weigh 195 when I got in combat. They sent me to this hospital in Reims, France. First week I gained 13 pounds, second week 12 pounds, and third week 11 pounds, and I think I weighed, after several weeks I weighed like 154, and I came home in September of 45.
If you were speaking to older children, young adults, what would you tell them about the state of humanity then and when you came home?
The state of humanity is about the same, I think, ever since Adam and Eve. They could do any group that way, not just a Jewish group.